Imagine this right now. There's a man who can't stop thinking about you. Your image pops into his mind every morning when he wakes up and every night before he falls asleep. He doesn't say it out loud. He might not even admit it to himself. But his eyes, his gestures, and his quiet presence betray his heart. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist of the 20th century, once said, "What's important is not what we think, but what we unconsciously reveal." This is a truth most women are never taught. Men fall in love through signals, not words. Have you ever noticed that no matter how many times a man says he loves you, something still makes you doubt? Or on the flip side, someone who's never confessed his feelings makes you feel an unexplainable deep connection? This isn't random or just your imagination. It's the language of the unconscious, what Carl Jung called the voice of the soul. Sadly, over 90% of women today keep chasing promises while completely missing the real signs right in front of them. Let me share a true story with you, Sarah, 32. A teacher in New York fell in love with a coworker for 2 years. He never confessed his feelings. He simply fixed the chair she always sat on, brought her coffee exactly how she liked it, and was there whenever she needed help. Sarah kept thinking, if he loved me, he'd just say it. But when she found out through a mutual friend that he had loved her since the very first day they met, but had been too shy to speak up, she broke down in tears. She realized she'd been waiting for words for 2 whole years, while true love had been there all along, in the small things he did every day. Sarah's story isn't rare. It's happening to millions of women across America, women who think hearing "I love you" is enough to feel secure, only to get lost in empty promises. Meanwhile, men who truly care stay silent, showing their feelings through their presence, their eyes, and their actions, feelings they just can't put into words. So how can you recognize these invisible signals? How can you avoid getting lost between sweet words and genuine love? Carl Jung dedicated his life to decoding the symbols, archetypes, and unconscious signals in the human mind. In the next section, he'll reveal 8 clear, unmistakable signs that show a man truly loves you with his whole heart, not just with his words. Stay tuned, because what you're about to learn could completely change how you see love and might save you from wasting years on someone who doesn't deserve you. When Carl Jung said, "We do not hold the unconscious holds us," he touched on one of the deepest truths about how men love, not through words but through unconscious signals. Sadly, millions of women in America today still look for reassurance in promises, believing phrases like, "It'll change," or "Just give me more time." They don't realize that waiting in silence only traps their hearts, turning them into prisoners of empty promises. Think about Emily, 29, a marketing professional in Chicago. She spent 4 years of her youth with a man who kept breaking promises. Every time she brought up the future, he avoided the topic, only to come back with sweet apologies. "I swear this time, it'll change." And Emily believed him, believed because he said, "I love you." Believed because she was afraid of losing him. Believed because society taught her that promises mean everything. But in those 4 years, he never once made room for her in his life. No family meetings, no serious plan, just sweet words whenever she tried to leave. That's the most common mistake, measuring love by promises instead of actions. Jung believed the unconscious reveals itself in the smallest things, how someone prioritizes you, shows up when you need them, or looks at you with care even in brief moments. True love doesn't need grand declarations. It shows up consistently in the details. Another mistake many women make is thinking a man's silence is a strategy to test them. But the truth is, prolonged silence is rarely a good sign. A man who truly loves you can't stand letting you feel insecure for long. Jung said that when the lover archetype is awakened, men don't hide, they feel compelled to be present and connected. Silence can mean he's only interested temporarily, not seeking a deep bond. A third mistake is confusing the intensity of passion with the depth of emotion. Jung pointed out that lust and love are 2 different archetypes. Passion can flare up fast, burn intensely, and then fade at the first sign of hardship. But real love, when the true lover archetype is activated, is patient, steady, and shows itself through quiet, consistent actions. Remember, true love doesn't run from challenges. It stands firm in the storm. For example, a man who loves you won't disappear when you're in trouble. He won't just text him sorry you're going through this and vanish. He'll ask, what can I do for you right now? Or take action on his own so you feel protected. Lindsay, 35, from Los Angeles, is living proof. She once dated a successful man who said, I love you, just weeks into their relationship. But when Lindsay caught COVID-19, he only texted, get some rest, I'm really busy. Meanwhile, an ordinary coworker, someone who had quietly loved Lindsay for a long time, cooked soup, left it at her door, and called daily to make sure she was okay. Which of these men truly loved her? These stories are far from rare. They highlight the biggest mistake women make, trusting words instead of repeated actions, and small details revealing a man's unconscious feelings. Once you understand this, you'll start to ask yourself, how can I avoid falling into the trap of empty promises? First, remind yourself that true love doesn't require forcing anything. It shows up through his proactive presence, how he adjusts his time to be there, his persistence, and his consistency. Second, don't be afraid of losing someone because you set clear standards. A man who truly loves you will respect your boundaries and won't feel threatened by them. In contrast, someone who only wants to possess you will vanish when he can control you with promises. Jung called this the mechanism of archetype splitting. In every person, there's a shadow ready to fake love to get what it wants. Only when you stand firm will someone's true lover archetype emerge. Otherwise, you'll find yourself stuck in repeating mind games that drain you emotionally. So how do you recognize these mistakes early on? Start by observing yourself. Are you making excuses for his disappearing acts? Do you keep telling yourself he'll change, even though his actions never do? Do you feel like you're putting in way more effort than necessary just to keep him around? These are the clearest signs you're trapping yourself in a relationship that only exists in hope. If you realize you've made or are making these mistakes, know that you're not alone. So many women have been there, are there now, or will go through this. But we can change together. Share your story in the comments below. Your sharing could be the light that helps another woman break free from this painful cycle. And remember, this is just the beginning. In the next part, I'll show you how to clearly identify the unconscious signals of a man who truly loves you, signs even he can fake. Stay tuned, because what you're about to learn could transform your entire perspective on love and help you build a relationship rooted in real connection, not illusions spun by empty words. Carl Jung once said, within every man exists an archetype, primal pattern that shapes how he loves, hates, fears, and desires. Among all the archetypes Jung identified, the lover archetype is one of the most powerful and fascinating because it doesn't just awaken feelings, it transforms a man's entire behavior, thoughts, and reactions when he truly loves a woman. So what is the lover archetype? It's not a fleeting sexual desire or shallow attraction. The lover archetype is the deepest unconscious state in a man's mind, described by Jung as a life force that drives a man to seek harmony, crave connection, and willingly sacrifice to protect his love. It's like the mythical fire Prometheus gave humanity, vibrant, intense energy that also comes with responsibility. When the lover archetype is activated, a man stops thinking only about pleasure and starts craving a deep connection. He begins to see you as an extension of himself, feeling your joy and pain as if they were his own. Jung believed this is the core difference between real love and fleeting passion. Passion burns hot and fades fast when things get tough, but love connected to the lover archetype grows stronger through challenges. Imagine this saying, I love you, is easy, but if you're sick, he doesn't call or check in. If you need help, he's too busy. If conflict arises, he disappears. In contrast, a man with the lover archetype activated can't stand the thought of you struggling without him there. This is an unconscious drive, not a behavior that can be faked for long. Even as a busy superstar athlete, David Beckham always showed up at big and small events to support Victoria. In his autobiography, My Side, he wrote, "I can't focus when I know she's worried alone." That wasn't obligation, it was the lover archetype compelling him to be there, proving love not through words but through steadfast presence. When Mila Kunis had her first child, Ashton Kutcher canceled his work schedule to stay home and care for her and the baby. He told the Today Show, "This isn't something I have to do, it's something I want to do more than anything." That's the lover archetype in action, love changing a man's priorities, putting the woman he loves at the center of his life. A 2021 study by the American Family Institute found that 82% of relationships lasting over 5 years shared one common factor: the man proactively showed up and consistently made time for his partner, regardless of his busy schedule. This finding doesn't just confirm Jung's theory, it proves that presence is the real love language, not empty promises. In today's society, many women are obsessed with spotting red flags, but forget how to recognize green flags. Jung pointed out that the lover archetype is the ultimate green flag. It transforms a self-centered man into someone who cares, shares, and protects. The lover archetype doesn't just elevate a relationship, it helps a man mature and commit for the long term. Once the lover archetype is awakened, a man will want to understand your feelings, not just get superficial agreement. Take the initiative to resolve conflicts instead of letting them drag on. Feel that seeing you smile, hearing your thoughts, and watching you grow are some of the most meaningful parts of his life. Fear hurting you, not because he's afraid of losing you, but because he doesn't want to lose his own sense of integrity. But did you know many women in America are still waiting for a lover archetype to say, "I love you," even though the signs are clear in his actions? Ironically, they overlook the genuine man and chase the ones who only talk a good game. This is the tragedy of love. Jung foresaw women being led by words instead of trusting the unconscious, where the lover archetype reveals an honesty that can't be faked. So how can you tell a real lover archetype from an actor? Ask yourself, does he keep showing up when you're struggling or only when you're happy? Does he share his own fears and dreams with you? Does he include you in his real life or keep the relationship hidden? Is he willing to change habits and rearrange his schedule to be with you? Share your story in the comments. Have you met a true lover archetype or wasted time on someone who only made empty promises? Your story could help another woman see her worth and stop falling for hollow words. And don't miss out. In the next part, I'll show you how to identify 8 signs of an active lover archetype, unconscious signals no liar can fake. These are the keys to ending the guessing game and confidently stepping into a relationship that's truly worthy of you. Stay tuned because what you're about to learn could completely transform how you understand love. Carl Jung made it clear the truth of emotions is not in words but revealed through unconscious actions. When the lover archetype is awakened in a man, he starts to show signs that simply can't be faked. Here are 8 unmistakable signs that his love for you isn't fleeting, but deep and lasting. 1. His eyes, the window to the lover archetype. He doesn't just look at you, he sees you with his soul. His gaze lingers not just when you're talking, but even when you're unaware. Jung believed the eyes of the lover archetype are like light shining directly into the soul, filled with care, admiration, and a desire to truly know you. This isn't a passing glance or lustful stare. It's a look that wants to memorize every small detail about you. 2. Consistent presence, prioritizing time for you. When a man loves you, he doesn't stay busy forever. He rearranges his schedule, shows up when you need him, and doesn't disappear when you're down. The lover archetype pushes him to be there because staying away too long makes him restless. No one forces him, it's his unconscious mind prioritizing you. 3. Small gestures, archetypal body language. Even in a crowd, his body naturally turns toward you, his shoulders, feet, and eyes align with you. He finds ways to close the distance as if an invisible force is pulling you together. Jung believed body language reveals the lover archetype most clearly because these subtle movements come from the unconscious beyond conscious control. 4. Remembering little details, unconscious selective memory. He remembers your favorite food, the movie that made you cry, or a childhood story you only mention once. This isn't a memory of a player. It's a sign the lover archetype has made you a priority in his mind, storing everything about you carefully. Vulnerability, letting down his guard. A man who truly loves you will open up about his fears, pain, and dreams, things he's never shared with anyone else. Jung emphasized the lover archetype only reveals itself when a man feels safe enough to lower the shield he's carried his whole life. This is the sacred moment of real connection. 6. Integrating you into his world, putting you on his social map. He introduces you to friends, colleagues, family. He wants everyone to know how important you are. Jung called this archetypal connection, where your relationship becomes woven into his social circle, making your bond more real and enduring. 7. Future plans. You're part of his long-term vision. He talks about upcoming trips, buying a house, career goals, and in every scenario you're included. Jung believed the lover archetype guides men to think long-term. When true love forms, a man stops living only in the moment and starts dreaming of a future with you. 8. Protective instinct, the guardian complex. He worries if you've eaten, gotten home safely, or if something's bothering you. He's not controlling, just naturally caring. Jung described this as the fusion of the lover and warrior archetypes, love awakening a man's instinct to protect the one he cherishes most. Tom Hanks famously cleared his schedule for months when his wife Rita Wilson was battling cancer. In an interview with The Guardian, Tom said, "I couldn't do anything but be by her side every hour, every minute." This is the essence of the lover archetype: no promises, just unwavering presence. A 2020 Pew Research Center survey found 71% of American women believe steady presence, prioritizing time and emotional sharing, are the most reliable signs of true love, more than gifts or sweet words. Take a moment. Is there someone in your life showing these signs? Or have you overlooked a man who never said the words but quietly protected and prioritized you? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could help thousands of other women recognize the value of true love and stop wasting their youth on empty promises. And don't go anywhere. In the next part, I'll reveal the fake signs, behaviors that seem like love, but are really tricks to manipulate your emotions so you can avoid falling into the same painful patterns. Stay tuned, because the Jungian insights you're about to discover could become the shield that protects your heart on your journey to finding real lasting love. Carl Jung said, "What causes us the most pain isn't what happens, but how we understand or fail to understand it." In love, many American women make a heartbreaking mistake. They overlook unconscious signals proving a man truly loves them, simply because he doesn't clearly say, "I love you." Jung saw this as a tragedy of modern society. We're obsessed with words while ignoring the unconscious, where the truth resides. First, society has programmed women to believe love must be confirmed through words, gifts, or grand flashy gestures. Hollywood movies create the image of the grand gesture, the surprise proposal in front of a crowd, the luxurious getaway, leading millions of women to think, if there's no movie-like moment, he doesn't love me. But Jung warned the lover archetype shows itself through patience, presence, and attentive eyes, not staged performances. Imagine you're dating a man who's always there when you need him. Remember, small details, protects you when you struggle, but he's not great with sweet words. Many women start doubting, why won't he just say he loves me? Am I imagining things? And they end up walking away from real love simply because those 3 words weren't said like in the movies. Second mistake, believing promises over actions. Women are often drawn to men who say things like, "I'll change," or "I'll do anything for you." But Jung taught that the lover archetype doesn't need to promise, he simply acts. When a woman clings to promises, she blinds herself to his instability, sudden disappearances, or lack of prioritization. Third mistake, confusing intensity with intimacy. A relationship filled with steamy texts, whirlwind dates, and then long silences can feel passionate, but it's often a sign of the shadow archetype, the dark side of love, where lust and mind games dominate. Jung warned that true love doesn't emotionally exhaust you. It brings peace and safety, even if it's not always thrilling. This pattern played out publicly with couples like Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber, whose cycles of breakups and reunions looked intense, but were also deeply painful. Selena once told Vogue, "Every time we got back together, I thought it was destiny, but it was just a loop that left me lost." This perfectly shows how intensity can be mistaken for intimacy, since the true lover archetype never creates endless insecurity. So what happens when you overlook the real signals? You pour your heart into men who talk big but never follow through. You waste years on relationships full of empty promises and few real actions. You miss out on a man who quietly shows his love through small, consistent gestures. You lose faith in love altogether, believing all men are bad, when the real issue is misunderstanding the signs. Jung explained that when women ignore the lover archetype, they fall into their own shadow archetype, a place filled with fear of abandonment and low self-worth, leading them to choose the wrong partners and repeat mistakes. They stop seeing the difference between genuine love and manipulation. According to a 2023 Psychology Today survey, 69% of American women admitted they stayed in relationships based solely on promises, even when their partner's actions consistently contradicted their words. This number highlights the tragedy facing millions believing words over intuition and real behavior. Jung advised, instead of chasing promises, learn to observe repeated actions. The lover archetype reveals itself through simple, consistent deeds, often unromantic by movie standards, but more honest than any words. And if you realize you have made or are making these mistakes, don't blame yourself. We all grew up in a society telling us love has to be spoken, but Jung gives us the key to break the cycle. Learn to recognize the lover archetype instead of waiting to hear "I love you." Share your story in the comments. Have you overlooked someone who was always there because he never said the words, or realized someone didn't deserve you despite saying all the right things? Your experience could become a valuable lesson for other women, helping them avoid getting lost in love. And don't go anywhere. In the next part, I'll reveal the signs of a fake archetype, the tactics of those who don't love, but know how to act like they do, so you can spot them and protect yourself. Stay tuned, because Jung's insights could become the map that leads you out of the maze of toxic relationships. Carl Jung spent years studying the mysterious connections between people, coincidences, and emotions. He called it synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, those moments when everything seems orchestrated for two people to connect. Jung believes synchronicity isn't random, but a way the deep unconscious and the universe work together to lead you to someone who's on your wavelength. Have you ever thought about someone and they called you instantly, or randomly bumped into an old flame in an unexpected place after years apart? That's synchronicity, a sign of unconscious attraction that defies logic or explanation. Synchronicity in love, the silent language of the lover archetype. Jung said when the lover archetype awakens, synchronicity happens more often. You and the other person feel invisible threads pulling you closer, thinking of each other at the same time, sending texts simultaneously, or saying the same thing even when you're far apart. It's not superstition, it's an unconscious sign of two souls resonating. In an interview with Time magazine, Meghan Markle shared, "I felt connected to Harry from our very first phone call. Strangely, we always texted each other right at the moment the other was about to reach out." That's exactly the synchronicity Jung described. Two people tuning into each other at an unconscious level, as if they'd known each other forever. Jung believes synchronicity is like a map pointing to relationships with real depth. When you and someone else keep experiencing meaningful coincidences, pay attention. It could be the lover archetype awakening, revealing a connection beyond mere physical attraction. The difference between true synchronicity and ordinary coincidence. Coincidence. You randomly meet someone but feel nothing, or the coincidence happens once and ends there. Synchronicity, repeated meaningful coincidences paired with a strong feeling that something special is happening. You might feel like you've known them forever, or easily share personal stories right away. Unconscious attraction. The pull you can't explain. Jung taught that unconscious attraction happens at the archetypal level when someone triggers your anima, animus, your ideal unconscious image of a partner. It's not about looks or status. It's a sense of belonging. It's what makes you miss someone you just met or feel deeply hurt even after a short time together. According to a 2022 study by Psychological Science, 78% of participants said they believe in connection at first sight, a sense of instant, powerful connection that goes beyond Hollywood-style love at first sight. A common mistake, women ignoring synchronicity. Many American women dismiss synchronicity, seeing it as meaningless coincidence. They look for logical signs instead of listening to their hearts. Jung warned, ignoring synchronicity can make you miss the chance to connect with someone who could offer true love, a relationship woven from the deepest layers of the unconscious. Another mistake, romanticizing every coincidence. On the flip side, some women romanticize every small coincidence, thinking anyone who texts them at the perfect time is fate. Jung taught that true synchronicity is paired with feelings of safety depth and consistent presence, not just a few lucky moments followed by disappearing acts. Real unconscious resonance doesn't fade after a few texts. How to tell the difference? True synchronicity comes with trust, easy sharing, and a partner who maintains connection and doesn't vanish. Random coincidence happens once or twice with shallow interaction, and no signs of the lover archetype like prioritizing you or protecting you. In interviews, Michelle Obama described her first meeting with Barack. We felt like we already knew each other. The conversation just flowed, and we discovered so many shared interests and perspectives. This is the perfect example of the lover archetype combined with synchronicity, not just physical attraction, but soulful alignment. Jung believes synchronicity is a gift from the universe for those willing to listen to the voice of the deep unconscious. It helps you recognize the lover archetype in someone else and also discover who you are and what you truly need in love. Share your synchronicity story in the comments below. Have you ever experienced strange coincidences with someone? Do you think it was mere chance or a signal from the universe? Your story could help other women understand that synchronicity isn't superstition, but a sign worth cherishing. And don't miss out. In the next part, I'll show you how to turn synchronicity into the foundation for a meaningful, lasting relationship, so you don't ignore or overinflate these signs, but instead embrace them with confidence. Stay tuned, because Jung's insights could give you the roadmap to finding the love you deserve. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Love is no different. If you don't learn to recognize the unconscious signs of true love, you'll stay stuck in endless cycles of hope and disappointment, believing sweet but empty words instead of looking for the consistent actions of the lover archetype. Through today's video, we explore the heart of a man who truly loves, from his eyes, his presence, his protective actions, to the mysterious synchronicities the universe sends your way. You've learned that genuine love doesn't require grand shows or repeated promises. It shows up most clearly in small, consistent, natural details. Most importantly, you deserve to be loved that way. You don't have to chase anyone, wait forever for someone who's too busy, or comfort yourself with hell, change someday. Jung taught that once you recognize your own worth, you'll naturally spot true love, because the lover archetype always reveals itself clearly to those who dare to love themselves first. That's why I invite you to share your stories, experiences, or mistakes you've made in love in the comments below. Writing it out will not only help you release your own emotions, but could also become a light for someone else lost in an unworthy relationship. Let's make this video not just a personal lesson, but a community for healing and growth together. Don't forget to hit like if this video resonated with you. It lets me know you truly care and want more deep dives into Carl Jung's psychology, archetypes, and love. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button now so you don't miss upcoming content that could transform how you see yourself, love, and life. Because as Jung said, meeting yourself is the greatest adventure of all. Finally, remember, love isn't something you have to beg for. Someone who truly loves you won't leave you guessing or waiting endlessly. The lover archetype will naturally drive him to do everything to be with you, not out of obligation, but from the heart. So hold your head high and step forward with confidence. The knowledge you gain today won't just help you find the right love, but also protect you from half-hearted relationships that drain your spirit. In the next video, it'll reveal secrets about shadow work, how to heal the wounds of your past so you can become the most complete version of yourself, ready to welcome the love you truly deserve. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it, because that next step is crucial for breaking free from cycles of pain. Thank you for staying with me until the end. This is your first step toward turning knowledge into emotional freedom. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. And now I'd love to hear your story. Share it in the comments below.